Hi, and welcome again to a Secret Tour series of short interviews that we're running together with our pilot. Today we will be talking about Monte San Giorgio on the border between Switzerland and Italy. And here with me, as I said, is Adine. Adine, hi, hello.
Hello, Mateusz. Thank you very much for this conversation.
Can you maybe introduce us to Monte San Giorgio, to Lugano, and its challenges that you want to tackle within Secret Tour project?
Monte San Giorgio is a World Heritage Site, best known for its outstanding universal value, which is connected to a Triassic fossil sequence. It's probably the most important Triassic area on the planet. But the mountain in itself, thanks to the geomorphology, thanks to the connection of two geological areas, creates the extraordinary mixture and combination of geologic features which become and morph into very specific and diversified forest. The result of this is a unique combination that not only enhances life, but it shows a very unique presence of human development and human activity on a mountain since the beginning of the notion of sacredness, which goes back not just to the human activity as we know it, but it goes back to paleontological sites. So the existence of traces of Neanderthal and then of important sapiens Neolithic activities, and then later a richness of archaeological evidences tells us about the history, the continued history of a sacred landscape, which merges into the Christian narrative thanks to the existence of a blessed saint, Beato Manfredo, a healer, who lived in a cave on top of the mountain and became a specific symbol of the wellness and also of the pilgrimage to the mountain. These two elements made of the side a very, very special context that merges very different ingredients that we understand as united, but throughout the territory are still considered divided. And these are the challenges that we find. We find a big fragmentation between the scientific heritage, the tourist services, even the Monte San Giorgio community narratives that are all there, but in a way isolated. So the risk we have when we think about tourism is obviously a low visitor engagement and or a passing through without a real meaningful experience. So what we want to do is integrate the storytelling and develop digital tools to enhance this interpretation. We want to transform the site from a simple destination to a living cultural landscape. We use very specific keywords to define this. Creativity-driven tourism, which for us is very relevant. A tourism led by the community living or working on the mountain, the design of real experience, obviously the digital storytelling, the cultural resilience of the mountain itself, the idea of a smart heritage and a slow tourism that creates a sustainable territorial life and economy, enhancing the sense of place, which translates into emotional engagement and the co-creation of an experience.
Adine, in Secret Tour project, we often talk about heritage communities and their role in developing sustainable tourism. So in the case of Monte San Giorgio, what are those heritage communities?
So our concept of heritage community goes way beyond the institutional definition. It includes, of course, the numerous municipalities, the museums, the people working in the hotels, all the artisans, the schools, most importantly, the different religious group, the researchers, and those who take care of the landscape, namely the rangers of the forest of the Monte San Giorgio, and those who create and take care of the gardens, and obviously the agri-forestal communities. So the key idea here of a heritage community is not of a user of an area, but of a co-author who gives meaning to the heritage. Literally, in our pilot, a heritage community is a very living network that transmits the knowledge, but at the same time is maintaining the place, safeguards the memories, and because of that, it generates narrative. So this community, it embodies the heritage daily. They are the intangible component of the heritage. It doesn't consume the resources, but interprets the resources, and it recreates them. So inevitably, when you look at communities as heritage community as the intangible part of the tangible heritage you're working with, the approach will be participatory. Since many years, as UNESCO chair, we work with the notion of the four-leg table of sustainability, in which communities with an entrepreneurial view are the key stakeholders of any project. And they work together with institutions, for instance, here the municipalities, and companies, and that become also donors in the way, and science grantors, such as, for instance, the Secretor project. And so the Secretor approach of heritage community includes this intangible heritage in order to transmit throughout generation the authenticity of the knowledge as a cultural capital.
You've already touched upon some of the activities that you're pursuing within this pilot, but maybe again, so what are the main activities of your pilot within Secretor?
We have, so to say, four strategic pillars. One is we map symbolically the landscape. And then the second pillar would be we design immersive cultural itineraries, as the one you have experienced. We bridge science and a profoundly emotional and spiritual and cultural itinerary. Fourth pillar, we activate the heritage through the narrative and the design. So these are our four strategic pillars. But what does it mean this in practice? When we put this in practice, we create thematic itineraries, which means we use sacred landscapes, fossils, mythology, medicinal plants, and we co-create workshops with museums, residents, tourist operators, while developing digital storytelling and their models. And then we integrate the information from archaeology, paleontology, ethnography, and spiritual landscape into one single textile, so to say, that contains this information in a homogeneous way. So we develop pilot innovations such as the Heritage Garden, which is a living archive. It's an educational space. It's also a sensory experience. And we want to develop, in a case like that, for instance, hybrid experience, on-site and digital as well. We focus, obviously, on a very slow tourism and a deep engagement. The narrative are always place-based. So it's the site, it's the power of the site generating the narrative. So we link to a broader Secretor vision, testing our model of heritage as an experience and not just obviously as an attraction. And we develop a methodology which can be scaled, which in part we inherit from having done this elsewhere on the planet in other World Heritage sites. And we develop a scalable methodology that we can then transfer through cultural tools.
So maybe my last question, what is your vision for Monte San Giorgio, for the pilot case that you're developing?
Our long-term vision beyond Secretur, so to say, or in a projected Secretur, would be to transform Monte San Giorgio into a European reference model for heritage-led sustainable development, cultural ecology, and also creative tourism. We want to establish sort of a permanent heritage biolaboratory, biocultural laboratory, and a living research platform that connects the territory, the communities, the science, and the creativity. So tourism is a reflection, in a way, of a site that becomes a space of transmission. It's an area of transmission, not just an area of visitation. You visit it because it's so powerful, it can transmit knowledge and meaning also to you as a visitor. So it's a place to think, it's a place to learn, to heal, to remember. So heritage becomes, in a way, a biocultural intelligence. It's not a commodity. It's a type of knowledge, so to say, that connects the biological and the cultural into a biocultural experience. Ultimately, we work to regenerate meaning. I learned this throughout natural conservation. When you recreate a forest, it ends up recreating the culture that these forests generated hundreds and maybe thousands of years ago. So when we regenerate the meaning, that activates all the elements that I talked about. And that will ultimately become a message that is so powerful that even visitors will be very deeply connected to.
Thank you, Adine, for these insights. Thank you for the presentations of your activities, and especially thank you for sharing with us your approach, your visions, because I think they add an additional dimension of what we are discussing in Secretur, what's usually being discussed when talking about cultural tourism. And of course, I wish you all the best in your pilot activities, and looking forward to follow on your activities.
Thank you very much, Mateusz. Thank you. Goodbye.